I can't think of ever what else to say other than hello, hi, nice to see you again. Um, so, I've revisited something that I did quite a few years ago actually, and my lesson plan was called A Fine Balance. I've kind of tweaked it here and there, but balance doesn't necessarily mean standing on one foot or on your hands. It can mean balance between left and right side of the body, front and back, and how you connect with the surface you're on, so getting balance in those areas too. So that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to find balance in everything we do. But before we get going, we'll come to the floor, find your comfortable position, whatever that might be. Now before we focus on our breath, we want to try and widen the contact, or widen the base. So if you just use your hands on one of your thighs, one underneath, one on the top, and kind of do this roll as if you're trying to roll the muscles on your thighs in towards you. Lean over to the opposite side so that same sitting bone lifts up. Keep that kind of twist on the thigh, and then release your sitting bone back down. Same thing on the other side, leaning over. Grab your thigh, pull, sort of rotating inwards, so drawing the thigh, circling towards you, and then release that sitting bone. And you may feel already that the area of contact you've made with your body feels a little wider, a little bit more stable. Well done. So closing your eyes just for maybe 10 or so breaths as we focus on our time together here today. Checking in with the body, all those little areas that we commonly hold tension in, so the shoulders, it's really easy to sit with your shoulders scrunched up. So just to start, roll your shoulders forwards, up towards the ears, back and down. Just release them. Do that twice more. Just let your hands kind of slide on the legs, so try not to just glue them in place. This time just hold. We're going to sigh the breath through the mouth and let the shoulders drop. Ha! Good, a little turn of the head from side to side. Notice how the neck feels. And then sort of chin to the ceiling, chin down towards the chest, so up and down. And coming back to the centre. And just settle there and notice the space between your ears and your shoulders now. Try and hold on to that space, whatever you're doing. And then bring your attention onto your breath. And just notice as well if you've started to kind of contract or squeeze the glutes a little bit. Just let your glutes, your buttock muscles, really soften and spread. Of course, that doesn't mean slumping down. It just means allowing the muscles to relax and ease into the contact they're making with the floor, the mat, whatever surface you're on. So close your eyes if you haven't done so already. And allow your focus, all of your attention to settle on your breath. So if your mind's quite busy, you might just have to keep bringing it back. Remind it to come onto the breath. And as many times you need to do that is fine. So some days it will be easy for you to sit, or easier for you to sit quietly and breathe and focus on your breath. And other days your mind will be quite persistent in trying to distract you. So remember, you're in charge. You're in charge of you. So bring your mind back to your breath. And begin to find balance now between the inhalation and the exhalation, so both parts of equal length. And once you've found that balance, bring your attention back to your sitting bones. And see if you've started to kind of favour one side over the other. Maybe you're leaning a little bit more to the left or to the right. Either way, just find that central position. If you're not sure, gently rocking a little bit side to side and forwards and backwards generally helps you find that central position a little bit more easily. Well done, opening your eyes. So we're going to go straight into a little bit of a side stretch. So whatever comfortable leg position you've got is fine. We're going to do the same thing with the other leg in front in a moment. If cross legs doesn't work, legs in a V shape is absolutely fine. Good. So let's just move the flesh away from those sitting bones again. If you've adjusted your legs, that tends to kind of scrunch back underneath you. Anytime you need to use that little thigh roll to help widen your base, you can go for it. You don't need to be prompted by me. Good, so let's bring the left hand to the floor. Breathe in, right arm out and up. And as you exhale, lean your weight into your left hand, but glue your right sitting bone down. Breathing up, kind of waving the arm. Exhale over. So keep that right sitting bone tacking down, okay? Breathing in. Breathing out. Try not to let your ear drop to your shoulder. Breathing in. As you come up, exhale over. Now this time, breathe in. As you breathe out, bring your right hand right up into the groin crease and press down before taking your kind of body over towards the left. Maybe slide that left hand a little bit further away. Keep that contact between the sitting bone, maybe the thigh bone, as you then release the right arm out, up and over, and start to reach through that top arm as much as you can. Now feel free to look up at the raised palm or maybe look down at your supporting hand. Maybe you might choose to look up under kind of the armpit area of that raised arm. Be careful you haven't started to unglue that right sitting bone, keep it down. A nice way to do it is to press into your left hand to almost push yourself back onto the right side. Good, breathe in to come up. Exhale, stay up, release that arm. Just for a second, go back to that contact between your sitting bones and your mat or the surface of your arm. Close your eyes and readjust. Again, that thigh roll is absolutely fine. Good, let's do the other side. Same leg in front for the other side. So right hand to the floor, good. Tack down. So without that physical cue of the hand, initially just press down through your left sitting bone, left arm out and up, breathe in. Exhale over, so it's a kind of a waving action, breathe in up. Exhale over. Good, keep the breath nice and even. Maybe slide this right hand a bit further away. Last one, so breathing up, exhale initially. Use this kind of lobster claw hand position, thumb on the front, fingers around the back, quite high to the groin, push down to ground everything. Settle down into your supporting hand and lean over towards the right hand. Good, and then perhaps just let that left arm float out, up and over. Now watch this top shoulder. It's really easy as you reach to start to turn, okay, towards that side, just to get your arm a bit further. Keep your shoulders kind of connected to your back, shoulder blades on the back, chest open towards me. That's it. Good. Same head position or vary it if you wish. Good. Watch that left sitting bone. Breathing, come up. Exhale, release. Good. Hands to the thighs again. Let your elbows bend softly back by your side waist. Reconnect with the weight that you have between your right and left sitting bone and even it out if you need to. Thigh roll is a good one to do. Well done. So now we just change. So the other legs are in front. So we'll go to the left side again. So left hand to the floor. Good. So you're used to understanding now that the sitting bones need to stay glued to your mat. Imagine you had suction cups on your sitting bones and you were sort of on glass, how they'd really glue themselves down. So try and create that sensation as you take your right arm out and up, breathe in. Exhale over. Come up. Over you go. And again. Good. One more. Breathe in, up, exhale, hand to thigh, press, lean over, and then release the arm up and over. Head position where it needs to be for you. Excuse me, itchy nose. I would say probably looking forwards is the most uncomfortable position and the most challenging for your neck here. So looking up is fairly good. Looking down is quite relaxing. And looking under the armpit isn't bad either. But try not to just look forwards. That's quite a tension bringing position for your neck. Good, breathe in, come up. Exhale, release. Good, settle into the support of both sitting bones. Right hand to the floor. Here we go, breathe in, ground down through your left sitting bone. Breathe in, exhale over. So remember, you've got that waving action, keeping it nice and fluid. And because you've got your other leg in front, it may be a bit more restricted for you here, a bit less. Final one, breathe in, come up, hand to the thigh, ground it down. Take your arm, keeping your hand where it is. Good. Just, oh, other side. Yes, that's right, that's what's fooling me. Left hand to left groin, leaning over. And then take the arm out and up. So choose your hand position. You can always keep your hand on your thigh, by the way. You don't have to release it. Because that feels quite nice sometimes, just to ground down and keep connected to the surface you're on. Watch this bottom ear so your neck isn't being sort of scrunched underneath. So keep that idea of space between your ear and your underneath shoulder. Good. Come up as you breathe in. Exhale. Good. Bring the hands back to the knees. Sit quietly for a moment. Do what you need to do to adjust. And whatever leg you've got in front, I'd like it to be your least favourite. So for me, that's my left leg. It might look like the right, but it's my left leg that's my least favourite, so I'm going to keep it there. Well done. We'll just go for a little twist from here. So, whatever leg's in front, let's just change now. So everybody's got the left leg in front. Right hand to left knee. Sweep your left arm out to the side and back behind you. Take it a little further back. So you're leaning back a little bit rather than bolt upright. Good. And just imagine you're turning the right side of your face up to the sun. On a warm summer's day, you can feel the heat of the sun on your face. Recreate that memory. All of us will have done that at some time. Breathe in where you are and exhale, slowly come back to your upright position. Let's do the other side. Let's put the other leg in front. Good. Left hand to right knee. So just to show you from the side, when your right hand hits the floor behind you, rather than being close to the body, you're leaning back a little bit. Good. Okay, let's go. So leaning back a little bit, left hand to right knee, turning the left side of your face up to the imaginary sun. And recreating the sensation of warmth on your skin as you face the sun. And let it warm you, let it soothe you. Maybe it's even brought a soft, easy smile to your face. Good. And exhale as you come back to your upright position. Well done. Take a moment to bring your legs up and turn sideways arms. Lengthen the legs along your mat. And let's take a kind of floppy forward fold. So breathe in, arms up. Exhale, just floppy arms. Good. And again, breathe in, up. Exhale, flop. One more. Stay forwards this time. And once again, notice if the buttock flesh is kind of scrunched up underneath your sitting bones. So again, you can lean to one side, release the opposite buttock, and lean to the other side, and repeat that. So both sides are equal and balanced. So as well as breathing into the front body, we can breathe into the back body. So let's recreate that idea of breathing in the back of the lungs here. Which of course we do all the time, but we're not always aware of it. So feel the shoulder blades perhaps moving, the back ribs, maybe even the lower back expanding with that inhalation. And everything relaxing and softening as we let the breath go. Well done. Slowly coming back to your upright position. Let's bend the legs so the feet are flat on the mat. So we'll do this a few times. in between our boat variations. Yay, boat. And after we've kind of grounded the feet, we'll come into this kind of hugged position to relax and soften through the lower back. All right, it's a bit of a slump, so take care if you've got any lower back issues. Better to stay more upright, but just have the idea of the head bowing towards the knees rather than letting the whole spine curl down. All right, so from this position, take the feet a little wider, maybe shoulder width, so not as wide as the mat, but wider than hip width. Hands on the shins. Let's do a little bit of cat-cow first. So breathe in, chest forward, chin up. Exhale, round. Navel to spine. Helps to look at the navel. Good. Breathe in, lift your gaze forwards and up. Exhale, bring your gaze back and in. And again. So you can see we're curling the spine back. When we come to boat, we're going to move more with a straight spine. So breathe into your kind of cat or cow position here. Exhale, just come to that neutral spine. Keep hold of the backs of the legs, so hook your hands behind you and your thumbs, your fingers and thumbs behind your legs, sorry. Elbows out to the side. And then start to lean back with the spine in a beautiful straight line rather than rounding down. So you'll be on your sitting bones and then you'll move off those pointy bones onto the fleshy little bit behind them. A little bit wider base there, more supportive. Shoulders back and down. Navel to spine, chest lifted. Nice little gap between your chin and your chest. Good, so we'll start by simply raising the right lower leg. I say simply, everyone might be in a different place, so if this is a challenge, well done. Okay, it can be a challenge. Flex the foot or point the toes, a little bit more of a challenge with the foot extended, and then pop the foot back down. Okay, we're just creating movement from the knee down. Everything else is remaining as if we've paused every other part of the body and the lower legs are the only ones moving. Good. Now we're going to do the right leg and possibly the right arm. Try not to reach here, shoulder back and down. And the left. So we all know what's coming. Good. So we're going to have a go at two legs. So keeping your hands where they are. We'll do the right lower leg, the left lower leg. Good. Right foot down, left foot down. Now, let's have a go at that again. If you suddenly find as you release the left, everything collapses down, stay with that single leg lift. All right. One more on each side. Notice how much you have to engage once you release that second foot. Okay. Here we go. Right foot, left foot, right arm, left arm. Good. Bring the left hand to the back of the knee, right hand to the back of the knee, left foot down, right foot down. Good. Come up. Good. Walk the feet a little closer, knees towards each other. Hug your elbows and round down. Forehead to knees maybe. Just let that lower back ease out. Well done. So let's return to our upright position. So we've got more of a pulsing action now. So if you're doing single leg, you can work in this way. All right. Double leg. Or. So options for everyone. Still thinking of the spine being long. So hands behind the backs of the legs. That little lean back with the spine nice and long. Okay, so working as you'd like to work. Hands behind the knees or hands, arms extended alongside in line with the shoulders. So find your start position. Both legs bent or one leg bent, one foot down. Arms along the legs or hands behind the knees. Good. As you breathe in, you come back. As you breathe out, think knees towards chest. Good. Three more. Watch that neck. Last one. Good, pop the feet down, nice and wide again. Let's do some of those cat-cow movements before we settle into that kind of little hug. Good. Coming up now, heel toe the feet and knees a little closer, chest towards thighs. You're doing opposite hand to opposite elbow, and almost sliding down towards the legs so you can relax. Well done. Well done. So coming back to boat pose again. Yay. This time we're going to work with the legs in a wider position. So feet as wide as they were a moment ago when we did this little movement. Good, so this time, if you prefer, you can bring your hands back behind you. So we'll be bringing the knees in towards us and then taking the legs into more of a V shape. So squeeze and release, okay? If you're working with the hands-free option, this time your arms come between the legs and we do this little hand position. So everything crossed apart from your index fingers. So find your start position. Just remember hands aren't too far back where you're going to kind of overload the shoulders. Good. Lift through the spine, leaning back, release the feet. You can always do one at a time, just like we did on the other side. So do a few on one side and a few on the other. Otherwise, here we go. Breathe in, V shape, breathe out. Think of bringing the knees towards the outside of the shoulders. They don't have to go there, but that's the idea you've got in your head. So 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Well done. Pop your feet down. Hands to the shins. A few cat-cow movements. Well done. Back to the center and relax. Give yourself a hug. Good, well done. So swing your legs around, come on to hands and knees. We'll do actual cat-cow from a normal position. Wrists under shoulders, knees more or less under hips. Making sure you've got equal support through both hands, both knees on the tops of both feet. And if you can, lining up the heels with the back of your knees as much as you can today, all right? Good. So breathing in, tail up, chest forwards, chin up. Exhale, round, press equally through both hands, through the knees, maybe the shins, the tops of the feet, almost as if you had the idea of trying to lift the knees up, but they're not actually releasing from the mat. Breathe in, just soften the elbows a little bit. Exhale. And again. Good, 2 more. Last 1. Come to the center, tuck your toes. Sit almost back to your heels and start to push as if you're trying to stretch your mat forwards to get the knees up, to get the hips up. Don't worry about your legs being straight or bent. Let them be as they need to be so you can get your hips up and back. And only then think about how the legs would like to react to the hips being up. So maybe you want to keep them bent, maybe they're happy to straighten. Just observe the backs of your legs. And here, just see if you've leant more into one hand than the other. Keep length between the sort of side body here. Crown of the head lengthening towards a space between your hands. Nice space, even in downward dog, between your shoulders and your ears. Good. One more breath. And when you're ready, look forwards. And let's just walk the feet towards the hands today. Coming up to a halfway position. Exhale, fold. And again, twice more. Exhale, fold. One more. This time we're going to come all the way up. So breathe in, push down to your feet to bring you up. Hands together overhead. Exhale to your heart center. So we're going to work with warrior two and triangle. So from the front of your mat, let's just step the right foot to the back of the mat. The left foot. And then spin the left heel in towards the center back of your mat. I always forget that sometimes the image of me is spun around when I'm making the class, or sometimes it isn't spun around. So I'll assume it is. So I have to pretend my left leg is my right leg and my right leg is my left leg. Okay, good. So warrior two. What I'd like you to do is think about the alignment of this front knee. Just you can relax your hands wherever they need to be. Quite commonly, this knee rolls in. Sometimes you have a strong internal rotation, so that kind of movement we were doing with the thigh earlier, you might naturally kind of create that with your own anatomical makeup. So there'll be a tendency for your knee to want to swing in anyway. But we try and keep it as aligned as possible, and a nice technique is from here, if you come up onto the ball of the foot, lift the foot, lean onto the little toe edge, so really put the weight into the little toe, and then put your heel down. And you notice that helps move the knee much further over, and you may have full visibility of all of your toes now, or perhaps at least your big toe, which is a nice indicator that you've got a nice bit of alignment. Everyone's different, so it's whatever you've done is working for you. Good. So let's just let the arms float out and settle into that warrior two position. So with the right arm extended, the left arm's going to come behind the back. Now I'd like you to grab hold of your left wrist and pull it across as much as you can, and see if you can get your left hand on top of your right thigh. Please don't worry if that's not doable. Just keep your arm behind your back. Good. So this is the inhalation. As we breathe out, we're going to straighten the right leg, but just reach. We're not tipping over, just reach. Breathe in, bend, back to this kind of weird one-armed warrior two. Exhale, straighten the right leg and just reach across. We're not tipping over, so the arm's still aligned with the shoulder. And again, breathe in. And breathe out. Two more, we're going to add a little bit of a tip. So breathe in. This time, straighten, reach, and tip. Good. Come back up, breathe in. I find this a much stronger approach to Trikonasana, triangle pose, with the arm behind the back, because you can't really cheat, you can't kind of twist your body down. Final one we're going to hold. So find the sort of right shin with maybe the right fingertips rather than leaning on your hand. Decide where you'd like to look. Perhaps down at that right foot works for you. Good. Maybe looking up works. Wherever your left arm is, if it feels right, and you'll know if it's right, because as you release it from behind your back, it will just float up without any effort. All right, so again, up to you whether your arm stays where it was or whether it floats up. Now, have you really leant into your right foot, or are you still aware of weight into that left foot? So reconnect with the left foot as well. So you've got that balance between both feet supporting you. Good, now breathe in, rebend the right leg, come back up to warrior two. Exhale here. Look at that right foot again, lift the heel, lean onto the little toe side, pop the foot down. Well done, windmill the hands. Coming back to downward dog. And in downward dog this time, really work on spreading your fingers and sharing the weight between all of your 8 fingers and your 2 thumbs equally. And try and connect as much of your feet equally as is possible. If your heels are up, you're thinking of the balls of the feet, the inner and outer edge of your feet, your toes. Good. Looking forwards, we're going to walk the feet to the hands again. We're going to come up halfway. Inhale. Exhale, fold. 2 more. And notice as you inhale, are you leaning into the front of the foot? Bring that weight back to the center as you exhale. Arms out and up, drive through the feet, breathe in. Bring your hands back to your heart center. Before we go to the other side, relax your hands. Arms by your side, sorry, close your eyes. And just connect with the balance now that you have between the right foot and the left foot. Good. So, I'll come to the other end of my mat. So we're now going to step the right foot back and spin the heel to the centre back of the mat. So remember when we step, it's more you step on the same line, so be careful you're not stepping diagonally across and directly behind your front foot. Heel touches down. Relax your arms for a minute. Working on this knee again. So if you lift the heel, lean onto the little toe side of the foot, then pop your heel back down and relax. You'll notice how that draws the knee a bit further across to the left. Okay, good. Good, so let's come up into Warrior Two. Breathe in. Exhale, just adjust your arms. Just carefully not leaning. Check that back arm. Good. Then that back arm just scoots down behind you. Grab the wrist with the opposite hand so you're pulling that arm across your back as much as you can. Maybe getting the hand onto the opposite thigh. Maybe not. Good. So let's take that arm up. Remember, we just reach, we don't tip to begin with. Breathe in here. Exhale, straighten and reach. Good. Breathe in. Exhale, reach. And again. Exhale, reach. Good. Two more. We tip the last two. Breathe in. So we reach and then tip over. Notice the effect that has on the inner left thigh. Go breathing up. Exhale and tip. We're going to stay here now. Good. Adjust. Feel the weight in both feet, not just that front foot. And again, that's this back arm. It's a really nice place to move from once you've come into the posture this way, because everything's kind of open where it needs to be. So that right arm might just feather-like float up. All right. Normally you may perhaps find your arm is kind of stuck, but from this position, also you're opening through the shoulder. It allows a bit more freedom through that joint there. So you can look down. You can look up, or maybe just diagonally forwards a bit. But again, looking towards me is probably the least comfortable position for your neck. Let's breathe into Warrior Two. Stay here as you lift the heel, roll, pop the heel down, windmill the hands, and step back to Downward Dog. Well done. So let's just pedal the heels here. So you're leaning onto the right foot, then the left foot, right foot, then the left foot. Coming back to sharing the support with both feet. And then as you breathe in, lift both heels, exhale softly and equally touch down both knees. Well done. Just sit on your heels for a moment. Close your eyes. And even here, you can be aware of whether you're preferring one side over the other. I'm sorry, there's a different word I'm trying to find and I can't find it. Good. And I'm bringing the breath equally into the front of the lungs, the back of the lungs. Good. So opening your eyes if you had them closed. We're coming onto our hands and knees. We're going to step the right foot forwards between the hands. Good. We'll have the back toes tucked because you've got the option in a moment to lift the knee. But initially, toes are tucked, but the knee stays down. Take a few breaths here. And just for a second, totally let your chest rest heavily onto your thigh, which may be more doable for some of you than others. So if that doesn't work, you can bring your hands up here and then just let your chest rest on your thigh. We're going to do that anyway in a moment, all right? Good. So gently walk your hands up, just this side of the knee. one hand on top of the other, elbows relaxed, shoulders down. You're going to push against the leg. Think of the chest lifting up and over. And the whole back of your body is long, particularly your lower back. Keep the idea of the tailbone lengthening towards that back heel. Good, and when you're ready, let your chest come onto your hands, which are on your thighs. Notice how that's much more of a challenge as you balance here. Okay, release your hands to the floor, possibly release that back knee. Let your chest rest on your thigh. Same thing again. You can always work with your knee down, just repeat that one. Hands come onto the thigh, you're going to press back. Lifting the chest, keeping the whole of the back long, rather than scrunching down here. So think tailbone again. Well done. Now I'm going to allow the chest to lean on that thigh and skip the back foot forwards. All right, a little bit of a challenge. We're going to allow the back foot to lift, keeping that front leg bent. If you need to, pop your hands down. All right, chest to thigh. Straighten the back leg, keep it bent. And then release up into a wobbly for me today, warrior 3. Arms extend by the ears. Sweep the back foot down, heel down, warrior 1. Exhale to the floor and step back to downward dog. Well done. Pedal the heels. Find balance between both feet. Breathe in, lift the heels. Exhale, release the knees. Well done, let's go to the other side. So left foot comes forwards, right toes remain tucked, but the knee stays down to begin with. So you're on your fingertips to begin with. And if you can transition to the palms, and that will allow the chest to come closer to the thigh. If you're not comfortable doing that, and you find it a challenge, you can always just have one hand there, if that helps for a moment, and keep the other hand for support. Good. Let's bring the hands onto the thigh, just this side of the knee. Good, shoulders up, back and down. So you're pressing back, but think up and over rather than back and down. Keeping the hips, just the idea of the hips moving forwards. And then leaning the chest onto the hands that are on the thigh. And notice the immediate kind of impact that has without the hands supporting you. You can get quite a bit wobbly, particularly through that front foot. Take your time to release your hands and possibly release that back knee now. A breath on the fingertips and maybe chest to thigh. Walk your hands up. So you're pressing up and back. Remember the knee can be down. And then we bring the chest onto the thigh. So you're already working this front leg really hard. Start to skip the back foot forwards a little bit. See if you can go for it. Just lift that back leg. Whoops, maybe use the fingertips for support. Maybe coming up into a wobbly warrior 3. Not for long. Release the back leg. Arms up, warrior 1. Back heel is down. Hands to the floor. Good. Step back. Down. Let's pedal the heels. Now from downward dog this time, we're going to come to warrior 1. So you can either lift the right leg up and step it, or just step the right foot through. The knee stays up on the back leg, as most of you know. Spin down the ball of the foot to bring your heel down. And find balance between both feet. To do that, you might need to walk your hands around to the left a bit and sort of bend that back leg so you can just maybe a little move from side to side. So feel the support in the back foot as well as the front foot. Now as you straighten that back leg, keep awareness through the foot, even as you bend the front leg, repositioning your body and your hands either side of that front foot, coming up into warrior 1. Now here, we're going to think about as if we were trying to rip our mats apart. So press down through your feet And really work your feet down and away from each other. Please make sure you're on a surface that you're not going to slip on before you do that. So pressing down and away. Squeeze, squeeze, or rather push, push, press, press. And you'll notice perhaps that when you do that, there's a lightness now to the upper body that perhaps wasn't there before. Well done. Into crescent lunge by releasing the back heel and opening the arms into more of a V. Hands come to the floor. Step back to downward dog. Good. And find, again, balance between the feet and the hands this time. So let's try and imagine that both of those areas of our body are supporting us here, because they are. Good. So quite commonly in downward dog, particularly if you're new to a yoga mat, you tend to put more weight forward, so you're sort of in a cross between downward dog and plank. Okay, so you want the shoulders back. Well done. So this time the left foot's going to come forwards. So look forwards, lift the leg, or just step the foot when you're ready. Good. Back heel comes down. I'll stay as I am, so apologies for the view. Walk your hands more around to the right so you can bend that back leg. And you can feel the weight now shifting, mostly probably from the front foot to the back foot. And then find balance between both feet with that little rocking movement. Hello. Then settle. As you straighten the back leg, remember to keep awareness of support in that back foot. Even as you come forwards and turn your body towards your front leg, keep awareness in that back foot. Good. Sweep your arms out and up, coming up into warrior one on the other side. Good. Before you start to press and stretch your mat away with your feet, notice how the upper body is kind of now, what it feels like. Does it kind of feel restricted? Does it feel heavy? Good. Now start to stretch your mat and notice how that frees up the body, so much so that you may find you can start to square yourself up to a bit more of a forward-facing position. Keep pressing and stretching through your feet. Well done. Crescent lunge, back heel lifts. Open the arms, spread the fingers, looking up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Well done. Step back, downward dog. Pedal the heels, find stillness, but most importantly, find balance. And when you're ready, heels up, knees down, sitting back into child's pose. So I'll sit up as I chat to you. So staying in your child's pose, which might mean you've supported your head by making two fists, one on top of the other, or maybe you're on your forearms, or perhaps you're in the full posture, arms alongside your legs. Finding an even posture. So it's still very easy to lean over to one side. Favouring, that was the word. You might be always favouring one side over the other. So just bring balance back in child's pose. And from child, we're going to come into bridge pose. So as if you were moving in slow motion from child's pose. You are the video of yourself. You are the movie of yourself. Slow yourself right down as you transition from child's pose to your backs, legs bent, feet flat on the floor, equally connected to the mat. Heels pointing towards the sitting bones, close-ish but not jammed up against them. And we're going to have the backs of the hands on the floor today so that the arms really aren't too involved in this movement. And we're going to lift on the exhalation. So take a breath in As you breathe out, let your feet spread and widen into the floor. Press equally down through both feet. A little squeeze of the glute muscles as you unpeel equally left and right side of your back off your mat. Up onto the back of both shoulders. Take a breath in while you're up. And exhale, come down with that balanced movement. Both sides of your body connected equally with the surface they're on. Breathe in while you're down. Exhale, huge wide feet press equally down. Little bit of contraction in the buttock muscles as you come up on the exhalation. Stay up as you inhale. Exhale, roll down. Good. We'll do that one more time and we'll stay up this time. So breathe in on the floor. Exhale, come up. Now we're going to take a few breaths here, and whilst you're up, you can see again if you've got a tendency to perhaps allow the hips to twist a bit, so you're more on the right side of your back, or the right shoulder, the back of the right shoulder, or the left side, or maybe one foot started to roll, or maybe your knees have changed position. Keep awareness, inner and outer front of the foot, inner and outer heel. Both of your buttock muscles gently contracted to support the hips. Nice length to the back of the neck. Still got a soft space between your chin and your chest. One more breath in. Exhale while you're up, maybe through the mouth. And then melt your whole spine and your hips back down onto your mat. Let's let the arms float a little wider. Walk your feet as wide as your mat and gently windscreen wiper them from side to side. So you kind of start the movement, but the weight of the legs takes them over. And let's just let the head roll heavily in the opposite direction. Good, come back to the center as you inhale this time. As you exhale, just heel toe your feet and knees a little closer and bring one knee and the other onto the chest. And what I'd like you to do is just make circles with your knees without using your hands. Notice the weight to the legs, much more relaxed when they kind of do their own thing. And change the direction. You're circling your knees in. And come back to the center. We'll give ourselves a hug again, so maybe hands over the shins, arms over the shins, or behind the backs of the thighs. Take a breath in as you exhale. Remember, we start with the head, so chin to chest, then curl everything up. Nose towards the knees. We'll take 2 more breaths here. See if you can find movement in the front body as well as the back body as you inhale. And exhale. 1. Slowly release, spine, head, relax. Good. Right arm down by your side. Right foot down, leg bent. Left arm down by your side. Left foot down, leg bent. Now either knees tent, walk your feet wider, or extend your legs along your mat for the most important part of our practice, Shavasana. So palms face the sky. Again, just take a moment. It's okay to adjust your body so you feel more comfortable and you feel more balanced. So perhaps just press into the elbows so you can lift your back off the mat just a little bit. Maybe you want to bend your arms to do that. And consciously sort of rolling the shoulders forwards to separate the shoulder blades and then release them back down. Another way to do that is to lean to one side and kind of reach, separate the shoulder blade from the other, and then do that again on the other side, a bit like we did with the sitting bones when we were sitting on the floor. And then as you lie in Shavasana, Notice without looking, notice if you feel as if you're in a straight line or perhaps you're off at an angle. And again, without looking, adjust your body till it feels, particularly the spine, that the spine is in a beautiful straight line. So it's not angled to the right or the left. It's completely straight. In your mind's eye, your spine is beautifully straight. And then just allowing your awareness to move to the feet. Relax the feet and ankles. Let them fall out away to the sides. Relax the lower legs, the upper legs. Just to give yourself the idea that the muscles on the thigh bones are melting away from the bones into the support of the floor beneath you. Relax the buttocks, the backs of the hips, the backs of the shoulders, the arms, the backs of the hands. And notice the weight of the head supported by the floor. And now just become aware of the whole body, softly breathing, evenly accepting the breath. Every little nook and cranny filling with this prana, this life force to soothe, to ease, to bring a sense of peace and contentment to the mind as well as the physical body. Continue to be breathed by your breath and simply give yourself permission to let go. So if you have time, give yourself at least 5 minutes here, perhaps longer. And then when you're ready to bring yourself back to the present movement, so you're ready to step back into your day, begin to make small movements with your fingers and toes, your wrists and your ankles. Bring the legs together, arms alongside the body as you breathe in, arms up. Huge inhale. Allow the back to gently release from the mat. Holding onto the breath for a second or two, release it with that audible sigh from the mouth. And relax once more, letting go into the support of the floor. When you're ready, your knees come onto your chest. Perhaps using your arms this time to hug them in a little bit more tightly. And a nice way to come up, you can roll to one side or hold onto the backs of the legs, flex the feet and kind of kick your feet away to bring you up to your comfortable seated position. Hands come together at the heart center. Finding balance again in the sitting bones. See if you can do that without the physical connection of the hands, the physical cueing of the hands. Widen your base. Good. Take a moment to reconnect with your breath. Once more, finding balance between the inhalation and exhalation. Smile, open your eyes. Thank you for joining me. As always, namaste.